Okay, how's everybody doing this morning? Okay, now, I don't know if you really heard what I said, because let me warn you about something. I am not your typical candy-coated speaker. I am high ADD, and I am not taking my Ritalin. So you better answer me. How are we doing this morning? All right, that's better. All right. That's what I'm talking about. So I understand we have Kentucky out there. Kentucky, I see you. All right. We have Nebraska. And we also have West Virginia, so I want to say hi to all of you. And also give a shout out to my friend Derek Clark, who was here last year. And my friend Derek, I don't know where you are, but Derek is responsible for me being here this morning, so thank you so much, Derek. So let's get started. You know, when we begin to talk about what it is we do as it relates to child welfare, when we begin to understand why we're here in this thing called child welfare, the one thing I want you to understand is that this is not a profession, but this is a calling. And when we talk this morning, as I spend this time with you, I want to talk with you not about anything technical. I don't want to give you a bunch of boring statistics, because you guys go through all your training and you guys get that. I want to give you some real life stuff that's going to help you change kids' lives. I want to give you some information from a former foster kid that they said would never make it. A kid who was physically, mentally, sexually abused, a ninth grade high school dropout, a kid whose mother was a prostitute and decided to put him in foster care at birth, a kid that they said would never make it, a kid who was special ed, a kid who was clinically depressed at 13, 14, 15, 16, a kid who was hooked on drugs, a kid who was in and out of juvenile jail, a kid who decided and contemplated suicide at 18. But the thing about it is what I want you not to do is to walk away from this message today feeling sorry for me, because see, I am a winner. I am still standing. I am still here. I am still strong. And the reason that I am still here, the reason that I am still strong, is because you told me that I could. Even though I did not directly live in your home, I am one of your children. I am the reciprocal of what happens when hope works. Because hope, H-O-P-E, simply means helping other people excel. And that's what we do here at KVC. Hope also means helping one person every day. And when we begin to look at what it is we do, the first thing I want you guys to realize is that you guys are significant. You guys are awesome. You guys are champions. Because understand, in this world of child welfare, sometimes it will be hard. Sometimes it'll be rough. And sometimes you'll question yourself. You'll question your reason for why it is you do what you do. Because everybody will not support what it is you do. Some people will come against you. Some people will tell you that you are crazy. Well, you do have to be psychotic to do this. But what I'm saying is that there are people who will not sometimes support what it is we do. But I'm an optimist. I believe that we do it anyway, because, see, we are really the Navy SEALs of child welfare. We are behind the scenes every day. We have our own troubles and trials and battles that we fight every day, and most of the world never even knows about it. But your kids do. When I came here yesterday, I was so excited. I just came back from Michigan. I did an all-day training with 300 foster parents for 6 hours. We were together and we were talking about hope and destiny and resiliency and winning in life. And the thing about it was, what was exciting about it was when I came here, I wondered, what I was going to see, the energy that was going to be here. But see, when Rennie Aaronsburg called me, where's Rennie? Rennie, stand up, stand up. Stand up. Okay, now, Rennie, no, stand up, Rennie. Rennie is, let me tell you, she is kind of like, you ever see people that we call sunshine people? I'm talking about the people that it's like someone has taken a bunch of sunshine and like embedded it in their DNA. And she is that person, because when she called me, the number one thing she talked about was how great all of you were. She said, we have the best organization in the world, but more importantly, we have the best people. I want you to give our people a message and thank them for what it is they do. And as we began to talk, and then I spoke with your wonderful CEO, I knew very quickly that your organization was different. I do a lot of these talks all over the country, and I'll never throw an organization under the bus, but there are a lot of organizations in child welfare who don't get it. There are a lot of organizations who operate at an even power. They are just average. But KBC, you guys are more than average. You guys are above average. So, Rennie, to the great CEO, I want to thank you. So can we give them a round of applause, please? That's what I'm talking about. I came here yesterday, and I was excited. I came here yesterday because when I walked in here, the energy was contagious. I never saw so many young, happy kids running around. I saw kids picking their nose. I saw kids, doing crazy stuff, doing sippy cups. I saw kids kicking. I saw kids doing tantrums. It was incredible. But the biggest thing and the grandest thing I saw was a group of individuals who loved these kids. A group of individuals who believe in something bigger than themselves and who do this because they understand the aspect of a calling. Who do this because you understand that life is about making a difference, and it's not about the money, it's not about the fame, it's not about the accolades, it's about looking at yourself and asking yourself at the end of your life, what would you have done? What difference would you have made in the life of kids? And I think that's pretty significant. But see, for a kid like me, life was rough. My mother was 24 years of age when she had me, and my mother was on drugs, she was on her way to prison, and my mother was a woman of the streets. And when I was born, my mother had to make a very critical decision. Does he take care of two kids, my older brother and me, and live that lifestyle? So my mother decided to keep my older brother, who was 1 year older than me, and place me directly into foster care. So from her womb, I went directly into foster care and spent the first 7 years of my life in and out of various foster homes. And at the age of 7, I was adopted by my last set of foster parents. But of course, my last set of foster parents were different. And as the kids say, they were old school. Everybody say old school. Now, my adopted, or my father, the only father I knew, was born in 1918. And my adopted mother and foster mother was born in 1930. So they had old school rules, old school values. My father was the provider for the family. My dad was a blue-collar worker. My dad worked a factory job. My grandfather worked in the coal mines of Kentucky. And the thing about it was, my dad was one of those guys, he worked hard and he played hard. My dad was not an emotional type of guy. My dad would not watch Lifetime or Oprah. He just wouldn't do it. He wasn't that type of guy. My dad was an ex-Marine, came through World War II. My dad faced a lot of things in life, and my dad had his own pain and trials and tribulations, but my dad was a provider. He was a factory worker. He went to the factory every day. He worked 5 days a week, sometimes 6, 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock every evening. He would come home, and mom would have dinner ready. It was the traditional American family, and my father was a drinker. My father drank heavily. And my father was what we call a alcoholic, but he didn't know it and didn't realize it. But my father was dealing with his own demons. But my father was a provider. But my father never told me he loved me. My father never embraced me. Even though I knew he loved me, my father just wasn't that type of guy. Now, my mother was on the complete opposite. Well, let me ask you this question. Does anybody here have a crazy mama? I'm just asking. Does anybody, any of you guys out there in Nebraska, you got a crazy mother? My mother was, she was very crazy. And my mom didn't play. There was no shades of gray. There was no talking back. When mama said something, when mama talked, woo, everybody, like Eve Hutton, they listened. Because my father worked and my mother had 5 kids from a previous marriage who were much older, who had kids my age, and my father had a son from a previous marriage. So mom didn't play. Mom was the disciplinarian. Now my father, though he was the man of the house, would come in and he would try to run things, but dad really never ran things. Mom really ran everything. Mom was really the chief CEO. You know, dad came in one time and my mom and him had a disagreement, and my dad says, well, let me tell you something, woman. I'm the head of this house, and what I say goes, and well, you better do what I say, woman. And so my mom was just in her way. She was like, oh, for real? Okay, well, let me tell you something, Miriam. Okay, you may be the head of this house, but I am the neck, because the neck can turn the head any way it wants to go. So when mama said that, I knew very quickly who was in charge. Mom didn't play. She was just out. Some of the ladies like, ooh, I like him. Oh, I understand. And you get ladies, you know what I'm talking about. And the guys are like, yeah, you're right. So anyway, so we're going to have fun this morning. So mom was she was the general. Mom was the director. Mom was the one who made sure everything happened, everything functioned while dad went away. But my adopted mother, God bless her soul, she had her own demons. She had her own issues. See, my mother's father was a hustler. My mother's father did a lot of things that were illegal. So before the Ohio lottery, back in the 20s and 30s, her dad ran numbers. For those who know what I'm talking about, kind of like the Al Capone type of thing, ran moonshine, whole 9 yards. So my mother grew up in that environment, seeing her father be gone for long periods of time, seeing her father shoot people, seeing her father get hurt, come home beat up. And so my mother had her own trauma and her own issues. My father was one of 9 children. And his father, I can't say he was an abuser, but my grandfather, whom I've never met, from what my father tells me, led with a heavy hand. So my father was very removed, and my mother was a disciplinarian. And so I grew up in a house where I wondered, why me? I wondered, why did I come into foster care? Why didn't my real mother want me? What was so wrong with me that I couldn't be like other kids? Because there were certain people in my family who told my mother and father that they should never have adopted me because I could eventually kill them. because I could be psychotic and they didn't have any psychological background, and you don't really know his background, and he could bludgeon you in the darkness of night and things of that nature. But my mother and father saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. My mother and father saw something in me that told them that we can make a difference. And even though they have their own issues and there were a lot of things that happened in our household that was dysfunctional, such as domestic violence, and when mom and dad would drink, and they would drink heavily, they always got into confrontation, and I was the kid who saw all of that. Mother had a Jekyll and Hyde personality. Sometimes she was the person that you liked, and sometimes she was the person that you wanted to avoid, because when mother was the other person, you didn't want to be in her presence, because anything in her presence became destructive, and she would destroy anything. And if I was in the middle of that, I was also the blunt instrument of that, along with my father. She would jump on my dad periodically, beat him up, bust his lip. My dad never hit my mom, never touched my mom, never laid a hand on my mom, but mom would get into these rages and would just do these things, and it was crazy. And I was looking at this as a young kid and asking myself at 7 and 8 years old, how does this happen? Is this the way families are supposed to run? And I didn't understand the whole aspect of this thing called life. And many of the kids that come into our home, they come in broken. They come in shattered. They come in wondering to themselves if there's something wrong with them. So the number one thing that we can do for children is to inspire them to be great. Inspire them to be more than they ever thought that they could be, because when we do that, we begin to change the philosophy and the consciousness and the energy in our homes and in the energy in the world. So I'm going to talk a lot about purpose. I'm going to talk a lot about destiny, because if I did a survey right now and asked all of you why you do this work, I doubt that anybody would say for the money. Oh yeah, I'm in this for the money, man. I'm getting paid. Probably not, because there really is no money in child welfare, believe me, because 9 times out of 10, sometimes we go back and we go into our own pocket to provide for the kids, do we not? And so it isn't for the money. So the bigger question is, why do you do what you do? Why do you take care of these kids? Why do you sacrifice your life to do this? I believe that you have not chosen your profession. I believe that your profession has chosen you. Because it takes a very special person to do this. It takes a very unique, and as I said before, psychotic person to do child welfare. Because the reward sometimes, it seems like for every step we take forward, sometimes it seems like we're taking other steps back. Because you guys remember when you first became foster parents. You guys remember that? Remember when you got into this profession, how great it was? Wasn't it great? And you guys were excited. Woo, you were excited. And the agencies, all the agencies, they are strategically trained to recruit. And it's kind of like the military, and you get into this and you think it's going to be phenomenal. And you go through your pre-service training, your pride training, they come out and make sure that your fire extinguisher works and things like that, right? Remember that? And they're checking for dust and dust mites and make sure that everything is clean. And you guys go through your Navy SEAL training, and you guys are excited and you're pumped up. And then the day comes when your pre-service training is over and you get licensed, and you guys are ready, and you guys are cocky, and you can't wait. You're like, bring the kids to me, baby. That's what it is. Bring them, baby. I'm ready. I mean, that's the way it is. Trust me, I know. And the thing about it is, the ladies, you guys are the ones, you guys are the drivers, because the ladies are really emotional. And you're ready. Now the guys, we're kind of laid back, so are we not? We're kind of laid back, and all of a sudden the day comes when the kids are coming. And you have, your house has never smelled like Pine Sol before like that ever. You've disinfected everything. You washed everything, And your husband's like, you ironed my underwear? Why? You don't know. But you want to make sure everything is perfect, right? And the caseworkers, they come, and the kids come, and you're excited. Oh my God, here they come. Look at them, James. Look at them, they're coming. They're so beautiful. Oh God, look at them. How are you? And you are excited. Now the guys, we're saying things like, don't sit in my chair. That's all we care about. We don't care about anything else. Don't touch the remote. Don't sit in the chair, And so the kids come, and we're really excited, and everything is great, and we're grand, and everything is wonderful, is it not? And you're excited like you've never been before, and everything is great. And week 1 goes by, it's great. Week 2 goes by, it's great. Week 3 goes by. Week 4 goes by. And time goes by until you have an incident. because the honeymoon phase only lasts for a certain period of time, and then kids do something that totally take you off course. Or something happens, and you ask yourself, did I make the right decision? Because no amount of training can prepare you for the kids who wake up in the middle of the night and they're screaming because of night terrors because they're suffering from separation and loss anxiety. The kids who defecate and smear it on the walls, or the kids who start fires, or the kids who hurt animals, or the kids who cuss you out. If you've never really truly been cussed out before, I'm talking about really cussed out, stay in this profession long enough, and you'll know what I'm talking about. Some of you guys are like, oh my God, this just happened this morning. Anyway, the thing about it is, these things happen, and you start questioning yourself. You start self-doubting yourself. You start asking yourself, did I make the right decision? Because in this profession, the goal is, can you stay the course? Can you stay the course when the tsunami of life hits you, and it will? When the things come, when everything isn't peachy keen, when everything is catastrophic, when all the chips come tumbling down, can you stay the course? And is it worth it? That is why keeping your reason for being, your why in front of you is so critical, because in those times when you feel like quitting, it is your why that will sustain you when you feel like nothing else around you is supporting you. Trust me, because some of you have written your resignation letters before. Oh, you have. You have written your resignation letters. You've thought about quitting. How many people at least have thought about quitting at least once? Just be honest. Okay, 100%. Great, I understand. Yeah. Okay. Now, ma'am, what sitting right here, what is your name? Sitting right here at the front. Rosette. Rosette, have you ever thought about quitting at least once, maybe? Yes. You have? Okay. And she was like, yes, I have. Yes, I have. Okay, intensive. Very good. Very good. So can I just imitate you for a minute as to maybe how I think you may have decided to quit in this profession? It's just for illustration purposes only. Your name again? Rosette. Imagine this, ladies and gentlemen. Rosette is at her wit's end. She is done. She has written the resignation letter. And the thing about it is, she gets on the phone and she has what? Attitude. Everybody says attitude. No. Not attitude. I mean attitude. Come on, let's go. I want those heads moving. Come on. 1, 2, 3. Attitude. There it is. So Miss Rosette, she gets on the phone, and this is how the conversation may go. Hello? Uh-huh. Yeah, uh-huh. Look, okay, I want you to come and get all these kids. I want you to come and get every last one of these kids, because listen, I'm going to tell you something right now. These kids are on my last. I told you I needed some respite. Didn't I tell you that? But y'all playing with me, huh? Y'all working my last nerve. Uh-huh, what? Oh, no, honey. You're going to come and get all these kids. You're going to come and get these kids today. You're going to come and get them out of my house. Uh-huh. These kids are running me. Uh-huh. I come downstairs, they have all my collard greens. Uh-huh. They had all my neck bones. Everything is gone. Uh-huh. They disrespected me and everything, right? Uh-huh. One ran out the house butt naked up the other day. I can't take this. Ran up my blood pressure. Y'all know I got sugar. Uh-huh. Come and get these kids today, okay? Goodbye. Boom. Now, that's how it may have went. I don't know. I'm not sure. Do you see? I see you, sister. I see you. Okay. I understand. So here's what we don't know about child welfare and about KVC. See, KVC, they have been trained, along with other foster care agencies, they are trained by Black Special Op Navy SEALs. They are strategically trained by the CIA and the FBI to strategically analyze when those calls come in. See what happens at KVC. What Wayne won't tell you is that they go into DEFCON 5. And there are sirens that come out of the ceilings. Woo! And when that happens, everything goes into DEFCON 5. Wayne's office shifts. And then he sees you on a screen because there's a camera hidden in your house. And Wayne is there watching you. He's got a call to the Secretary of State. Okay, he's got a direct line to Obama, so he's like, Mr. President, we have a red alert. And so they go into DEFCON 5, right? So what happens is they're strategically trained on what to say. They are phenomenal. So on the other side, when she is talking, when they're done, this is what the trained specialists within KVC may say. They may say something like, really? Okay, well, you know what? I tell you what, let's think about it for 24 hours. And if you feel that way in the morning, we'll be more than happy to come and get all the kids.